Welcome to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County, and this show is about Plymouth County real estate. This show is being taped in December, but we're reporting on the November activity at the Registry of Deeds. And the headline for the month was Sales Stay Strong Despite Low Inventory. I'll have a couple great guests in the second segment of the show, Donald Smith and Patrick Driscoll of Equitable Bank. And in the third segment of the show, we'll be talking about a couple of our notable land records related to the holiday season. So let's get to the numbers. You're going to see a bar chart of deeds, which are sales of property in Plymouth County over the month of November. 939 sales, up from the 893 in October, 30% more than last November, and year-to-date up 15%, with 1 month to go in the calendar year. The next bar chart you're going to see is of mortgages. It's been a great year for mortgages. 2,185 mortgages recorded in November, less than the 2,204 in October, but up 41% over the 1,545 last November. Year-to-date, mortgages are up 12%. Clearly, people have been taking advantage of low interest rates to purchase properties as well as refinance. There may be some changes in the future. I know the Federal Reserve is going to make a decision soon about raising interest rates. Interest rates have already started to go up, but they're still at a very, very low rate. The next bar chart you're going to see is foreclosure deeds. A foreclosure deed is when a property has been taken back from an owner by the lender, and there were 54 foreclosure deeds recorded in November, less than the 71 recorded in October, 2% more than last November, and year-to-date, 34% higher than last year at this time. The next bar chart you're going to see is foreclosure notices. 95 notices recorded in November, less than the 137 in October, 39% less than last November, and I think we're getting to the point that foreclosure notices are slowing down, which is a good thing in the marketplace because, again, foreclosure notices in many cases lead to foreclosures and properties lost to lenders. The next chart you're going to see is a listing of all the foreclosure deeds and notices by community, all the way from Abington down through Whitman. Brockton and Plymouth have been the most places that have had difficulty. And if you're in trouble, don't wait. Try to reach out to a federal housing counselor. Our training room will open again on January 12th, free training for our online system. Call our office, 508-830-9290, or go to plymouthdeeds.org. Our property fraud alert is available on our website, a free service you can sign up for and be notified if there's something being recorded against you. We welcome the Rochester Historical Society to one of our displays at the registry, our Settlements of Plymouth County display in November, and Bridgewater Academy building reopened, very well put together as the new town hall. And we'll be having office hours in Bridgewater on the 19th of January, and we invite anyone that wants to come to see that. My guests on the next segment of the show are a couple great individuals from Equitable Bank, and we'll see you in the next segment.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Welcome back to the Register's Report. Again, my name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County. And in this segment of the show, we always try to do something educational in nature. We've had home builders, we've had commercial real estate brokers, surveyors, appraisers, anyone involved in the real estate business. And I have a couple great guests with me here today. I have Donald Smith, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Equitable Bank.
Hi,
Welcome, Don.
thank you very much.
And I have Patrick Driscoll, Assistant Vice President and Branch Manager of the Kingston branch of Equitable Bank. Welcome, Pat.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
So I appreciate both of you coming on the show. This is my December show. We'll be moving on to January soon. We're coming to an end of the year. So I'd just like to have you start off by introducing yourself. Why don't you start on, your background, how you got into banking?
Yes, this is my 35th year in community banking in Massachusetts, and I've spent most of it in the cooperative banking industry, the last 20 of it with Equitable Bank. And so I have pretty much started and spent time in the financial portion of banking, retail operations, and currently, as you mentioned, EVP and Chief Operating Officer at Equitable Bank. So Equitable Bank, to the folks on the South Shore, is probably not as familiar a name. Up until this year, Weymouth Bank, which was formerly Weymouth Cooperative Bank, was known on the South Shore, headquartered in Weymouth with a branch in Kingston. And Equitable Cooperative Bank was a similar style bank that was operating in Lynn and Nahant on the North Shore. Being longtime friends in the industry, the CEO of Weymouth, Bob Taravecchia, and myself decided, which we can get into a little later, to merge the two banks. And we decided to keep the name Equitable because it was more generic and would cover a larger geographic area. So at that point, I took on the role as EVP and COO. And so we are kind of embarked on new waters for both banks, and moving forward to build our business.
Great. And Pat, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing a little bit, how you get into banking. But first, I'm going to say that I was driving down to work one day and I heard a commercial on the radio, and the combination of how smooth you were and the fact that you're in Kingston, which is part of this area that this show will be broadcast to. I thought you'd make a great guest. So why don't you tell me and the viewers how you got into the banking business?
Thank you for inviting me. No, I started, straight out of college. I started banking as a teller, and then from there moved up the line, supervisor, assistant manager, then manager. Been with all the big banks, started about 1978, enjoyed it, I enjoy the interaction with the customer's base, always in retail. And, about 10 years ago, I said to myself, being with the bigger banks, it was time to kind of settle down and go to a smaller bank. And I did that, and I joined Weymouth Bank.
Okay.
And my office was in Kingston, 83 Summer Street, and it's a great location, a great community. I enjoy helping the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts. There's always events. There's a food shelter nearby, and we love to interact with the community. And we treat our customers as family. I talk to everybody every day. And we enjoy ourselves and we have fun. And but we do, we do commercial lending, we do residential lending. So it's a great bank, and I enjoy it very much.
Oh, great. So let's get into a little more detail about the structure of the bank. And Pat mentioned you were in various activities.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little more about the merger and what strengths you had that you brought together?
Well, both banks were chartered as cooperative, mutually organized cooperative banks, Equitable in 1877 and Weymouth in 1889. So the banks have been around a long time, serving their communities. Mutual structure in banking means that there are no shareholders, no owners per se. The banks are run for the good of their customers, for the good of the community. And so both banks had similar backgrounds. Primarily, historically, they served the residential mortgage market. In the last 20 years or so, the banks have diversified into commercial lending. And so we do, like Pat said, have a pretty good, strong commercial lending side. But like all businesses these days, small businesses, banking is being challenged with regulatory, technical, marketing issues that we're trying to keep up and continue to give back to our communities and make a profit doing that. And so, as you probably noted, and in your role, the number of bank mergers over the years has increased. And, I think that's just because the pace of change of our world is picking up, and so the number of mergers. So by taking these two banks and getting them together, we grew from a $100 million bank and a $220 million bank to now a $330 million bank. The number of employees has increased, our locations have increased. It'll give us some more financial stability and strength to do more and to continue on the role of what Pat was describing, which goes on in all of our branches, which is a lot of community involvement, a lot of one-on-one where customers come in and can sit and talk with people, and hopefully we provide a less corporate, big, S&P 500 type presence, and it's more of a community type structure.
Yeah, do you want to just share again where your branch is, Pat?
83 Summer Street, near the railroad tracks, Solstice Restaurant, We Print Today, Tourist Pharmacy, right beside us.
Yeah, good.
But it's a good location,
Great.
And hopefully, there's a lot of change happening. I think we have a new pizza place opening up soon, so it's coming to be a good location.
It's a neighborhood.
Yeah, very
good neighborhood.
new apartments near the railroad tracks that are it's changing, but it's changing for the better. So it's a fun place to work.
So when did the merger take place?
So we merged. It was a two-part merger. That the two banks merged under one holding company in August of 2015.
Okay.
And then the two banks actually merged together as to one entity with one name just this past August.
Okay.
So the dust is still settling a little bit. We're still learning new things. Obviously, there were changes in computer systems and technology and the name and a lot of things. So we're still getting a lot of that under our belt, but there's been a lot of progress, and we're working on being able to really do more and be more effective. Like Pat said, our Kingston office it's a great office. It's the newest of the 5 branches that the bank has, and it has plenty of parking, drive-up teller, ATM, and it's a very nice facility.
So I always like in this segment to have you give out your contact information twice, so the viewers can catch that. Do you want to just share your contact information, Pat?
Yes, Pat Driscoll, branch manager, 83 Summer Street, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Direct phone number 781-927-1350.
And Don?
Don Smith, and I work out of the 51 Columbian Street office in South Weymouth, and my direct dial there is 781-927-1301. Also bring up at this point the bank's website, which is www.equitablebank.com. Equitable Bank, all one word.
So let's talk about 2016. In the earlier segment of my show, we talked about activity at the registry over the past year coming to a rapid close, and it's been a good year for us in terms of sales in mortgages and the general health of the Plymouth County marketplace. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how you've done in 2016?
We had a better than planned year when it came to lending, which was challenging for us going through the merger at the same time. But our residential loans were up more than anticipated. Some of our commercial lending was stronger. We also have implemented through the state solar lending program in late 2015, ramped that up throughout 2016. So between the residential, the solar, and commercial, we had really kind of a banner year for lending. But I concur, it was a strong year in residential lending.
Great. So was it much of an adjustment, Pat, when you were shifting brand names or,
Yes.
in the systems and all that goes along with it?
It's funny, yeah. It was funny. We changed the computer system, but we kept our forms.
Okay.
The other branches, kept the computer system, but their forms changed. So I think all branches had a little bit of a learning curve. But you know what? We worked as a team, and the first day I was calling his branches asking for help, and
Sure.
We're moving forward, and it's been positive. So
Yeah.
like I said, it's a fun place to be.
And were new programs brought to the table by the merger?
Most of the things were the same.
Okay.
We're full service bank, so the product line was very similar.
Okay, good.
So that's
A lot is coming in 2017.
Okay. Oh, good.
The bank is engaged in a pretty hefty strategic planning session right now. In fact, after we finish with this show, I'm on my way back. And a lot of that is discussing products and marketing and the focus and direction of the bank. And I think we like to look at this and say, well, 2016 was a very challenging year, but it was a building block for the future. And I think we're very optimistic about where we're going from here.
Yeah, one of the things that we always try to focus on is technology changes that you go through in the offering your services. And I think in our case, we do electronic recording. People can do closings over the internet, which is a huge
right.
jump
Yeah,
for people. And so I know, banks also make many technology changes along the way. Anything particularly you're rolling out in 17?
Well, we currently, for the last few years, we've offered online lending, which we still do.
Yeah.
We are fine-tuning that, and we are heading down the road of what you're just describing, which is ultimately everything being electronic and passing documents electronically from the bank to attorneys, and then attorneys back to the bank, and then ultimately to your office
Sure.
and for recording. So
Yeah.
that really is the direction that everything is headed, and
Right.
we're obviously on board with all of that. So
We do meetings today, there's an effort to do electronic notarization now.
Oh, really?
And, various people are pushing the edges of it, but sometimes you gotta wait for the legislature to catch up on it.
correct.
So let's break out your crystal ball and let's talk about 2017, kicking off the new year very soon. I happened to hear on the way over the Federal Reserve is meeting today and might have some impact on interest rates. clearly there's already been a little bump that we've seen in
Correct.
mortgage rates, although we had a tremendous year in mortgages and refinancing at the registry. But let's, why don't you start, Pat, where you see 17 going?
Yeah, well, we did very well in 2016, and you know, residential and commercial, and I think it's just going to keep. You know, we're going to get more volume next year. You know, hopefully we'll get maybe a 50% increase of some type across the board on all the products. You know, we're looking for a better year. You know, the loan market has been pretty good to us, so
Right.
and I hope it continues.
Yeah, there are a lot less people that are out from underwater in their mortgages as values have gone up, and it's good for everybody, you know.
I think we're enjoying the fact that the Boston market, you know, as you know, is probably one of the stronger markets in the
Absolutely.
United States, and so Eastern Massachusetts as a whole is really enjoying, I think, the results of that.
I
And
agree with you.
I concur with Pat. I don't, at this point in time, of course, anything can happen,
Right.
as we know, but at this point in time, I think given our location in Eastern Massachusetts, whether it be the Kingston area or whether it be Weymouth or Lynn or the North Shore,
Right.
I think I do see a strong year ahead. I agree.
Right. Well, I'm going to ask you one more time to give out your contact information.
Pat Driscoll, branch manager, 83 Summer Street, Kingston, Mass. 02364. Direct phone line, 781-927-1350.
And Don?
And I'm Don Smith, EVP and Chief Operating Officer at Equitable Bank, and you can get in touch with me at 781-927-1301.
Great. Well, I want to wish you both a very happy holiday season, a Merry Christmas, and a prosperous New Year.
Thank
you
you.
for coming on the
You
show.
too.
Happy
Thanks,
holidays.
Pat.
Thank you,
Yes.
John. Nice
Yeah,
meeting you, sir.
yeah.
Maybe I have with that?
Oh, thank you. Did you see anyone's broccoli? Thanks for helping us.
No problem.
Is this strawberry? You're welcome.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to the Register's Report. Again, my name is John Buckley. I want to thank Don Smith and Patrick Driscoll of Equitable Bank for their great description of what is going on with their bank, talking about their Kingston location, as well as the merger issue between their lenders recently, services they provide, an outlook on what they went through in a positive way in 2016, and a crystal ball of 2017. In this segment of the show, we do something a little lighter in nature. We talk about some of our notable land records related to the holiday season in this case. Pearl Harbor Day was December 7th, Human Rights Day, December 10th. Winter solstice will begin on the 21st, and the days will get longer, thankfully. Hanukkah is the 24th, Christmas is the 25th, and obviously New Year's Day before we see the next segment of this show. So happy New Year for everyone. A couple of our great historical notable records. You'll see a story about Reginald Fessenden, the Fessenden Tower, the historic transatlantic two-way broadcast, the first radio broadcast across the ocean in 1906 between the Brant Rock Station in Scotland, and later in that year on Christmas Eve, they broadcast Silent Night on Christmas Eve, which was heard as far away as the Caribbean. There's a plaque on that site in Brant Rock that recognizes that great accomplishment, certainly recognized by all. Edgar Rowe Snow, the next notable record we're going to show, was a very famous author. He was a historian, lived in Marshfield, wrote over 100 books, including stories of shipwrecks and storms, pirates, and he was very well known for carrying on the tradition of the Flying Santa. The Flying Santa would go up in a small plane and drop gifts off to the children of the lighthouse keepers throughout the harbor islands. Didn't have a lot of accessibility during the winter, so it was a tremendous thing that he did. He was a dedicated preservationist, and there's a plaque in his honor near Fort Warren on George's Island, and again, a very well recognized person in the holiday season. So James Edgar owned a department store in Brockton. He was an immigrant from Scotland, and he loved Christmas. He had previously dressed up as other characters, but in 1890, he dressed up as Santa Claus. People came from far away from Boston and Providence to see him, and that caught on. So every department store Santa Claus you see, whether it be in Macy's or any other store you go into, all originated in Brockton with James Edgar. He's very well recognized. There's a park named after him in the city of Brockton. A holiday parade is done every year in his honor, and there's a plaque in his honor across the street from where his department store was formerly located. And last but not least, the Equitable Railroad. Many people remember going down to Carver at Christmas time and getting on the Equitable Railroad. In its day, and it still operates, it would take you for a ride around the bogs. There'll be various Christmas displays to be seen. Became a major tourist attraction, and to this day is still operating. And Mr. Atwood should be recognized for that. I want to thank PAC TV for allowing me to produce this program and share with people across the county what is happening in the real estate market. Dave Antoine from this office, Lorna Green Baker and Christine Richards from my office that helped me get this together, allow me to produce this show and bring forward issues and information about for most people, your primary asset, your home. So I want to wish everyone a very happy holiday season, a Merry Christmas, and a very happy New Year, and I'll see you in the new year. Thank you.